Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check it out. The fine folks over at President were kind enough to send me their newest version of the President New Virginia. This is called the President Virginia F. It's a little bit of a cost-reduced model. It is a fixed antenna, so the President Virginia and the old President New Yorker would rotate. They had two different positions. This one is in a fixed spot. I want to try this thing out. My wife is not a huge fan of antennas on her car, and a lot of you out there, a lot of people that are interested in getting started in the hobby don't like the idea of slapping 60 inches of antenna on there. Well, this is an opportunity for you to install an antenna that quite frankly looks like it belongs on a car. And that's what I love about the Virginia series of antennas. Very simple magnet mount base and a fixed position here with a little bit of a rake. I would say that's what, maybe 5, maybe 7.5 degrees of rake right there, and that's it. Then you can place that thing on the hood of your car. The cabling on this is very thin. Usually you have something about twice that size, but they did that on purpose. You're not going to run a ton of wattage through this thing, but they've got this nice thin line. It makes it easier not to have to drill a hole to get through the car. Just slide that thing. I have mine on my car run through the back of the hatchback. I have a little hatchback for a car, and it runs through there. I had it tucked in between the weather seal that goes around, exits out the bottom, runs underneath the carpet, comes up right to the radio. Not intrusive in any way, no drilling, no tapping, no cutting, no smashing, nothing. It also comes with a cool President #1 sticker. And that, my friends, is all there is to this thing. It does have a, let's see here, the specs. It is a quarter wave, 50 ohms, 26 to 28 megahertz. It is a vertical. Pre-adjusted SWR is 1.1 to 1. It does have a 3 dBi gain. It says it can handle 120 watts of PEP wattage. I'm not sure if that's something you want to do long term, but apparently the cabling and the wiring is capable of standing up to that. Weighs 0.210 kilograms, so no big deal there. And it's a magnetic mount, double helix or helicoil. And if you see it here, yeah, that's how they get a little extra length out of it. Of course, there's windings down here, and then this is our main antenna, and there's probably another winding up here to reach that full wave in order to keep the SWR low. But there it is. That's all there is to it. So what I'm going to do now is pause the camera, and we'll go ahead and slap this thing on the car and take a look at how it looks. And in another part, we'll do some range tests with it. I have used the New York until I sold the car that it was on and sold it with it because the guy that bought it actually wanted to have a radio in it. And I have a new Virginia that has the mobile mount, the flexible, you can rotate it some. And those both had similar range, and I would say 2.5 miles for clearer two-way conversations, about 5 miles spotty. And the longest conversation I was able to have was 7.5 miles. That was a bit of a stretch, but that was in the very flat area out in Ohio. So I would say for mountainous regions, about 2.5 miles is what you're going to get out of this. That doesn't sound like a lot, but let's talk about accidents, because honestly, most of the time that the average user of a mobile radio is going to use their radio is when they're stuck in traffic. They've come to a complete stop, they don't know what's going on, and they're able to get on the mic and say, hey, what's going on Highway 95 here? I'm at exit 213, right? And what's going to happen is you're going to have people who are going to give those answers to you right away. And 2.5 miles up the road is usually where those accidents are happening. 5 miles up the road, you can be relaying information or be listening and getting spotty information. So even if you're not able to get a signal out at a high enough volume to break somebody's squelch at the 5 mile range, if they have the squelch on, you can still hear, if you turn your squelch down, what's going on ahead of you that far out. So this is really, honestly, for someone who just wants it for in case, and that's what this radio antenna really is all about, is the in case radio antenna. I want a CB in my car just in case. Well, here's your just in case antenna to go with it. Yeah, let's take it down to one of the cars. We'll put it on the roof. I'll show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it just kind of blends in with your average car, the way that it sits on the hood. It's not, if you didn't already have this antenna here for our regular AM FM, you would probably think that that was just a regular car antenna. yeah, it's a really cool setup, and there's enough cable to run that down all the way down and then up to the inside of this car, no problem. If you want to see some examples of a range test, I have one on the older new New Yorker from the President Corporation, and it's pretty much the same antenna with just some minor tweaks, so you'll get an idea of how well it performs. Till next time, my friends, take care.